with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the Metropolitan Transportation Licensing Commission's decision. We advise that you seek your own independent legal advice to ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. If you'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have last month's draft minutes been reviewed by the commissioners, and does anyone have a motion regarding those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved from last month. It looks like we have a short agenda today. The first substantive item on our agenda involves wreckers. We have a new wrecker company application by Ben Tow Service and Time to Tow. Mr. Fields.
You have two different applications, and they're both in order. They've provided all the material that we need for approval.
Is there a motion regarding the application for Ben Tow Service?
I make a motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion, motion passes. Is there a motion regarding Time to Tow?
Make a motion to approve Time to Tow's application.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
May I ask Mr. Fields a question here?
Sure.
Mr. Fields, I know the last time we had the towing, the meeting on towing companies and everything, they were in different zones and we saw maps and everything. How do these new companies, where do they fit in?
We have two classifications of wreckers. We have emergency wreckers and general wreckers. The emergency wreckers, the 15 of them, are assigned specific zones by this commission to serve the police. The general wreckers they just have to have a permit to provide private service for any other towing needs in the city. Some of them are they tow for one company, that may just tow for themselves. Many of them we have some that are junkyards that have to tow their own equipment. So that's the difference.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is a new record driver permit request by 5 individuals. Mr. Fields.
The last 4 were deferred from last month's meeting, so you wanted me to call your attention to that. The first one, Mr. Ali Bakshishi has applied. He failed to disclose 3 charges, one dating back to 2001. On a domestic assault, in 2003 an aggravated assault, in 2004 assault. Everything else was in order.
Is he here?
Is Mr. Bakshishi here today, Mr. Fields?
Yes, he is.
If you would come forward, please, sir. Would you like to make a supporting statement with your driver permit request?
Mr. Bakshishi, would you please step back for the microphone?
You can go ahead.
Yeah, what do you want for my driver license? I couldn't understand, I'm sorry.
No, I was asking if you would like to make a supporting statement along with your driver permit request that you submitted.
Yeah, what kind of support? No problem. Because I don't have any.
Do you have any questions?
I'd like him to explain the domestic violence.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Mr. Bakshishi, when you applied, you failed to list some things on your application. And as you know, because you failed to list it, we have to come to the commission for you to explain why you left them out. The 3 things that you left out, there was a charge in 2001 of a domestic assault. There was another charge in 2003 of an aggravated assault. And in 2004, there was just an assault. And you did not, in your application, you did not list anything. And you just need to explain why you failed to list those.
Because that was a family problem. It wasn't just home, and nothing to do with my driving or my record. I didn't know that. I can't remember. That's a long
Can you
time.
explain those 3 charges?
That just was arguing between me and children. That was a long time ago. That was my wife, you know. So,
It says it's a domestic assault.
I don't know what they reported. I don't know. Me and my wife went that they cleared it out.
And the charge in 2004 was dismissed. The other charges I did not have a disposition on, but
Aggravated assault in 2003. What was that?
Argue between me and my wife, police come in, they report. It's not, I mean, you know, they take me to the jail 24 hours, then I'll put the bond, come out. But just,
even with conviction, they were all outside our 5-year rule.
I didn't know I have to write it down, you know, because I can't remember. I have to get the report from it. That's a long time ago, when I was young.
There were no issues since 2006.
I make a motion that we accept.
All those in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
Mr. Bakshishi also has an application for a company that will be bringing to you in March.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Fields, I guess we'll go in order that you've got them listed here. Mr. Clements,
Patrick Clements? He was notified, and he was a deferral from last month.
is there a motion regarding Mr. Clements' driver permit request? Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Story, Nathaniel Story. Mr. Story was also
He was
notified.
also notified, and in fact, I think indicated he will be here, so I'm not sure.
And he was deferred from last
He
month.
was deferred from last month as well.
Is there a motion regarding Mr. Story's application? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Anthony Ramsey. Mr. Ramsey was also deferral from last month.
He was deferred as well.
Is there a motion regarding Mr. Ramsey?
Motion to deny.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. John Waldron.
It's going to be a quick one.
Well,
Hello, Mr. Waldron. Mr. Fields.
Mr. Waldron failed to list a single charge of failure to appear in 2010.
What was the charge? What were you failing to appear for?
Oh, it was a driver's license where my license was suspended. I missed that, but I had taken care of it. I must have forgotten about that.
Mr. Fields, the paperwork I received from your office indicated failure to, or disclosed a failure to appear 2010, and then there was an X and a 2.
It was 2 times
Two times,
on there.
okay.
But I think what had happened, he failed to appear on, it was charged on 10/27, and then there was also a failure to, it was a failure to be booked in 2010, on those 2 charges.
Was the failure to be booked for a citation?
It was another driver's license. Where my license had been revoked because of an accident. But, I mean, I've got my license now. I'm taking care of all that. I just forgot about those.
So you have a valid license today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I understand what you're telling me, you were in an accident.
Well, actually, I had a car that I didn't have insurance on.
Okay.
And the mother of my child, she had been driving and she backed into a lady in Kroger parking lot. And since the vehicle was in my name and I didn't have insurance, they revoked my license because of that. But I paid that and taken care of all that, and since got my license reinstated.
What did you get a citation?
Well, while my license was revoked because of that incident, I had got pulled over for driving on a revoked license, and I missed the court date, and I was arrested, and I booked, and I've got time served, and it's over with now.
So the officer issued you a citation for
Driving on a
revoked, gave you a date to report to the citation docket.
Yes.
You missed that
Yes.
date. But then, how'd you get back in the system?
I went and I had to turn myself in, and they make bond, and then they rescheduled a court date, and I think I served like 6 days because of that in jail.
And then the other failure to report or failure to appear was regarding what?
I got pulled over about 3 times in like a 3-month span for driving on revoked, and I missed the court dates.
These were all in 2010?
Yes, sir.
Why were you driving when you didn't have a license?
I didn't have nobody to drive.
When you explained that.
Yeah, I just didn't have nobody to drive me around. I was going back and forth to work, and I just didn't have nobody else to transport me.
All right, and there are some other charges, it appears, that are within our 5-year period here, 2011, theft of property. What was that about?
I had a drug problem in the past, and I was out supporting my drug habit, and I got arrested for stealing some scrap metal and stuff. But I mean, I'm on probation now for that, and I served 3 years in jail. 18 months of that was at Judge Norman's drug court program. I was a resident there, out there in Bordeaux. So I done 18 months out there, and I have completed his drug rehab program, and I'm still on probation for several more years, but that's what all that's about. I'm doing good. I still go to the meetings, and I stay active in it.
Are you clean now?
Yes, sir.
That was a felony conviction for theft between $1,000 and $10,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of sentence did you get?
I've got a 12-year sentence on that, which I served the 3 years, and they let me out on probation, so I'm on probation until I complete that. But as soon as I get my restitution off, what I understand is I think there's a possibility I could go back in front of Judge Norman, and he would, since I completed his program, he would take some of those years off.
So you had a probation violation not too long ago. What was that about?
The only thing I can think of is on a violation of probation would be in 2005. Wait, does it state which year that was?
Yes, September 7th, 2009.
Oh, I remember. I was on probation and for another theft charge where I was supporting my drug habit, and where I had caught one of the felony thefts. That was a misdemeanor theft, and when I caught the felony theft, that violated that probation. But that charge was dismissed. The violation of probation, they dismissed it because my lawyer, he got dismissed because there was like a sit-in judge that day, and the day I was sentenced, and there's some kind of law that says that a sit-in judge can't sentence someone, is what I was understanding. I'm not real familiar with all the laws and stuff, but they dismissed that violation of probation charge.
Robertson County?
What, the violation?
The theft under $500 from June 18th, 2009.
Yeah, it should have been that one, I believe.
Now, you've listed on your application that you had a theft conviction in 2010 out of Sumner County. What's that about?
It was where I was still supporting my drug habit, and I was running around just doing whatever, just scrap metal. Industrial parks, just anywhere I could.
Interesting, the TBI report doesn't show your Sumner County conviction. It goes from Robertson County right to Davidson County, but you disclosed it, so I appreciate that. All right, so you had a couple misdemeanor theft convictions from 2009, 2010 in Robertson, Sumner County, and then you picked up a felony theft conviction in Davidson County in 2010. You did 3 years in custody?
Yes, I done 18 months in the county off of Harding Place, and then I done another 18 months at Judge Norman's drug court program at DC4 out there off County Hospital Road.
Did the programs when you were doing 18 months out at CDC?
Yes.
What programs?
At CDC, I done the New Avenues program while I was there. And
Did you do it?
yes. I didn't bring this.
Judge Norman's drug court program?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've completed and graduated in the inpatient and the aftercare. I've completed all of it. And I still attend, they've got alumni meetings every Tuesday night. I still go out there and attend those every Tuesday night as well.
When did you get released onto probation?
I was released from drug court October 15th of last year. And I went to a halfway house for 6 months, and I stayed there for the 6 months because that was required. And then I've moved away from the halfway house after that, and I live in Hermitage now.
Are you working anywhere?
Not currently right now. That's why I'm trying to get the record permit so I could get a job. I mean, a friend of mine, he does construction. I help him. He's kind of retired. He just kind of does it on the side, and I help him. And I've been drawing unemployment about a month or two now. So.
Got any experience driving record trucks?
Yes, I had a permit in 2007, and they said I had a meeting. I've got the transcript right here from that meeting, and they said if I kept it up and I didn't let it expire, that I wouldn't have to come back through the meeting and do this again. And when I went to try to renew it, they scheduled me to come back down here. They just wouldn't give it to me again. So, and then I was driving a truck for tire recappers, delivering tires to the post office. Then I was out of town during that date, so I missed that date. So. But I mean, my father's had tow trucks my whole life, and I drove for him, and I worked for Easy Towing for about 4 years in Laverne. Oxycontin.
How often do you go?
I attend at least 3 a week. I go on Tuesday nights, and I go on the weekends.
Who will you work for today if you grant your driver permit?
I'm not sure. I've contacted several record services over the last few months, and I've told them about my convictions and stuff, and they just tell me if I can get my permit to call back, but they didn't think that y'all would grant me one, so they didn't really want to waste their time coming down here with me or anything. They just told me if I can get y'all to give me one, just call them back.
Are you on Judge Norman's probation?
Yes, sir.
Who's your probation on?
Miss Parrish.
How often do you take drug screen?
It's random every 30 days.
Within no less than one every 30 days?
Yes.
How often do you have to report to it?
Once a month.
And what other conditions of your probation are you living under?
Just have a job. Just have a job right now, attend the meetings, and pass the drug screens right now.
Commissioners, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Walter. Is there a motion regarding Mr. Waldron's application?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is Magic Taxi has requested to make a modification to their color scheme. I believe we've got a sample of what the scheme they're wanting to use going forward, Mr. Fields.
Yes, sir. They're in their application, when you approved in January, you approved a color scheme of red and gold. They came back and asked if they could modify it and brought a picture, which I've shared with you, as a cream color with a yellow on the top. I've asked them to be here to bring information, also advise the other cab companies what was going on so they would know. Yellow's here. I'm sure they're going to want to speak as well.
Sir?
Magic. This is the old one.
Could you please introduce yourself first? I'm sorry.
Sorry. My name is DT Eli with the Magic Taxi Cab with a manager.
Is this a picture of your current taxi?
Yeah, this is all, yeah. We wanted to move. This one. Just give you a sample.
Is there a reason why?
For the old one, like economic-wise, for the future about 6 months or whatever it's going to be, when the heat touches the red one, it's going to change, and we have to repaint again. And the other thing is expensive now. They told us about 380 something to paint. But this one is cheaper. It's about 275 of the youngest cars. If you look at the other side, you can see it, the price-wise. At nighttime, you can see this one. That one, you cannot see it.
What do you have, 35 cabs?
We have 35 cabs.
Are you planning to change all of them to the new color?
We didn't paint yet.
So all 35 would be that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have Echo. They're gonna paint for us. The other side of the.
Against the
I'm assuming y'all wants
modification?
to mean almost any time that any of the other colors, historically in Nashville, all the cab companies have had their own colors, and obviously as more companies have been added, color schemes are now starting to use parts of other colors. We went through, last year, you made a modification of one of the companies that, again, was using yellow, and they were very vocal then. I'm assuming they'll be vocal today. So it's not a public hearing, but they would like to speak, I'm confident.
Does anyone have any questions of Magic Taxi before we hear from anyone else?
He's raising his hand.
Sir?
Mr. Chairman, since he mentioned the color, cream color, we're with 10 cab.
Correct.
Thank you, and that's one of our colors. We'd like to see that known if it's possible. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm glad, so they have a cream color as well.
Mr. Fields, do the cab companies, have they already had an opportunity to see the application for the color scheme modification?
No, they knew there was a color. I advised them in a meeting we had a couple of weeks ago that they were making a request, but they had not seen the color. I told them more or less what it was, but I didn't have the picture at the time. Have y'all seen, you haven't seen it?
No, sir.
Just for the benefit of the audience, it's a cream color solid with the exception of yellow on the top of the car itself. The roof.
Please tell me what number is 10 cab.
Do you have a picture of one of your cars? Fields, your office have any opinion on it?
Well, I think we're at a point, as I've looked around the country, I look at some of the cities, I think in Houston there's 140 companies. We're at a place now with 13 with 13 different companies, it's going to be very hard to not have some encroachment on other colors, unless, for instance, if someone were to come forward with a black cab today. There are no black cabs working with white lettering or something like that. It's more for the companies. I don't guard their colors, but I know they certainly are very proud of their colors, and they feel like that's part of their marketing. Again, as long, from my perspective, as long as they're distinctive and the styles are distinctive enough, I personally don't know that that's an issue, because there's only so many different colors unless we start doing stripes and I did not say checks and polka dots and things like that.
If it helps, the legal standard says no vehicle covered by the terms of this chapter shall be licensed which bears a color scheme, identifying design, monogram, or insignia, which in the opinion of the Metropolitan Transportation Licensing Commission conflicts with or imitates any color scheme, identifying design, monogram, or insignia used by a vehicle or company in such a manner to be misleading or that it tends to deceive or defraud the public.
So I think from that perspective, based on the reading from Metro Legal, again, I don't ever try to interpret Metro Legal, but if you believe that the cream and the yellow are close enough to the 10 cab, then you have the right to say no, we think it's too close to 10 cab. Or if you think the use of the yellow on the top is too much of what yellow has, then you have the right not to. At that point, you could also have a time to discuss with him now if you felt uncomfortable there, saying would you to approve something a different one today if you could discuss it with him.
I'd like to see 10 cabs. Do you have a photograph?
The gentleman stated that this is close to it, but it's not in the same beige you said. Yes, sir, I'm trying to, as soon as this thing comes up, we'll get one past it.
Yeah, that doesn't look too much like.
Well, they have a distinctive red stripe down the side that says 10 cab along with a replica of the seal, of the circle from the Tennessee state flag.
Can I see the photograph again? I think that doesn't look like it's encroaching upon anything.
I don't believe there's an issue.
What?
Yes, sir. Please come forward.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I have one of our older group with me, and he doesn't see a problem, and I hope we're not taking too much of y'all's time. We appreciate very much the opportunity you've given us.
Thank you.
So we do not have a problem.
Oh, okay, good.
Is there a representative from Yellow Cab? If you could come forward, please, sir.
Assistant manager for Yellow Cab, and I've been doing this for 35 years. And like Billy said, traditionally in the old days, another company did infringe on the colors of another company to cause confusion. Now, in the past year or two, we've had confusion from customers and even the police about what Yellow Cab they were in, and it turns out to be their yellow-looking cabs now. I was in Charlotte a couple months ago, and I saw a car go by. I thought it was Yellow Cab, but when I got closer, it said taxi on there. And so from a distance, you're going to ask somebody what kind of cab it was, and they're going to say it was a Yellow Cab. It might not have been. Now, these gentlemen withdrew their complaint because of the beige. I think they probably had a bigger dog in this hunt than I do. But if you look at the car from the front, and I haven't really looked at the picture that well, does it look yellow?
They don't look like that.
It's not just on the top part.
Right.
Not the roof.
No.
Just the roof.
Just the roof is yellow.
Well, I was instructed to say we oppose it, but that's all I got. Thank you.
And yellow would have said that for the last 30 or 40 years. I can promise you that.
That's a fellow manufacturer.
Yes, sir.
I take it the little emblem with the MT on the side,
That's
that yellow's going to be the same color as the
yes,
yellow on the top of it?
yes.
Okay.
It look, yeah, it's good. We ask the customers, we ask everybody, they love it, and they can see it easily when driving on the streets.
Go ahead.
To accept. I would like to make a motion. To allow for the change.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
It's a nice-looking car. Even Yellow Cabs that I've sent here.
You want
I
his
love
pictures
that.
back? Do you want your pictures? And we'll note Yellow Cab had an objection.
All right, last item on our agenda is other business. I had mentioned to Mr. Fields I have a conflict for next month's regularly scheduled meeting for March 27th, and wanted to know if it was okay with the fellow commissioners if we could move it to the 20th.
With respect to the chair, he said he did not want the meeting to be moved on his account, and I said it's appropriate for you to ask your fellow commissioners if they would like for you to be present.
So, if y'all want to go forward without me, which is fine, but
I have a conflict as well.
on the 27th.
On the 27th, I'm going to be on a plane to Paris, France. So I would like to change the meeting to the 20th as well.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next month's
Any
meeting.
opposed?
I'm not opposed, I will be out of town, spring break with the family on the 20th, so go for it.
So next month's meeting will be on March 20th, and then we'll go back to our regularly scheduled fourth Thursday of every month.
We'll do the notice on the website as quick as we can.
Any other business, Mr. Fields?
No, sir, it's 2:02.
All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.